It's a little merchandising room with some art. I'm still kind of working on it, but yeah, this Z-Flex, I did this whole series for Z-Flex probably about 8 years ago.
Whoa, oh yeah, there it is. There's our logo.
Eric Dressen said, hey man, Z-Flex is looking for some stuff.
Dressen did this tattoo for me.
This one right here?
Yeah, right here.
Oh dude, he's so good. He's such a cool dude, man.
You know, it's Color Him Father.
Yeah.
And it's a song by a song by the fuck, what do they call it?
It's right on the tip of my
There's it's an oldie.
Yeah.
Color Him Father.
Yeah. Man. And then some of this stuff is just like my original art over here that I've done over the years. I did that for Bobby Tribal's show.
Dope. Yeah. We all have heroes growing up. Like my heroes growing up skateboarding was like Mark Gonzalez, Nadas Capas.
Yeah.
Who was your inspiration for tattooing?
That's so funny you say Nadas because I went to school with him. He just called me last week.
Nadas Capas.
Yeah, do a hand-drawn shirt for him, man. Yeah.
Shout out Nadas.
Yeah, man. And,
that's the
solo trip, bro. You got a dude named Nadas. His name backward is Saint.
Oh.
Trip. Yeah. We all trip on that, but you know
that's why I wear the cross.
Yeah, man, I get you.
Yeah,
but yeah, you know, my inspirations, as you know, you have as an artist, you have artists. You know, like mine would be like, you know, Salvador Dali, Caravaggio, the Piz, you know, Robert Williams. Those dudes like that, man. Yeah. Those dudes like that, because you know they were on that cusp of that hot rod kind of art, you know. And then you know, for me being, you know, people like, are you religious? Because you have crosses all over you, have the Virgin Mary on your neck. And I said, you know what? I was in Catholic school and I was young with my grandma, but I was never baptized. But I love that artwork, you know. The religious artwork is just something about.
You were never baptized?
Was never baptized. Man. Not yet. I'm working on it.
It's never too late to get your head done.
I'm telling you.
Know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Go get it.
Yeah. And it was just that kind of artwork. So I followed dudes in the tattoo world that kind of specialize in, you know, Freddie Negretti, Jack Rudy, rest in peace, Mark Mahoney, Marcus Pacheco, Greg Irons. These dudes,
amazing.
These dudes were the guys that did the black and gray.
Yeah.
And then dudes like Sabado from Japan that did the bomb color, and Horiyoshi 3 that did back pieces and sleeves and all that stuff. So those guys were a lot of my influences, and I still, you know, influences till this day. You know, there's a lot of tattooers out there right now that are coming up that are friggin' amazing, dude. You know, so
there's always like the next generation coming up.
Yeah.
You know, I heard you say, you know, you're a believer. You believe?
Oh, for sure. I do have a higher power, and I do believe, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Same.
Yeah.
Do you mind? Like I know you have a prosthetic, and like I just don't know what. Do you mind talking about what happened in the story?
Man. Yeah, you know, people all the time. Sometimes they're like, you know, they don't want to ask me about it. You know, they think it's kind of. But you know, it was 2018. I was on my Harley, probably 3 blocks from my house, and
not too kind of recent. Not too.
Yeah, 2018. October 18th of 2017, I was on my Harley.
I was still in jail at the time. Okay, so I go by the time I've been home.
I bet.
You know, I've been home 4 years, but back then I was locked up. Okay.
Hey, just like sobriety. Just
sobriety days.
Counting days.
8 years.
What almost 5 years, man.
Congrats, man.
That's
right.
Let's
go.
That's how we do it. Yeah. So, you know, I was going through an intersection, and I saw this lady pulling out, making a left turn, and she started moving, and I thought she saw me, and I was only going about 50 miles an hour, but man, as soon as I came through the intersection, she made a left turn, and I wasn't going that fast, and she didn't hit me that hard to where the bike skidded and I flew. It was just enough to hit me perfectly on my knee, which severed the artery to my knee.
Yeah.
Since it was eternal, you know, they had to rush me to the hospital because it was bleeding, turning. My leg was filling up with fluid and have not. So I'm in the hospital, and they're trying to save my leg. They're not able to save it. My foot started losing heartbeat. So the first amputation was my leg, my foot. And that was November 5th.
Damn.
And then they come in on my birthday, November 8th, and it says we have to take it all the way up above the knee because it was clotting. So here I am today with, a prosthesis. I just had an operation called osseointegration, which they insert a post into your femur bone. It makes it easier to walk, but that's a whole nother story. So going through that accident, I'm like super depressed in the hospital. What the fuck am I gonna do? Can't skate, can't surf, can't perform anymore, playing music and shit. And I got really depressed, and I had a guy from the program came in, he was an amputee. And I just wanted to know, like, how is this all gonna work out for me,
Yeah.
So he kind of brought my spirits up, but once I got home, dealing with walking upstairs or dealing that, I got super depressed, man, and started using pills, more than usual. Started drinking again. I had been sober for a little bit. In my 20s, I had about 5 years, and because of sobriety, back then I was able to learn to tattoo because I got completely sober to learn to tattoo.
Man.
So sobriety's helped me a lot on the way. But I was severely depressed, bro. And
I get it. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, and I went through a dark time, man.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend was on the bike, in the back of the bike. She's a nurse.
She was with you.
She was with me, yeah. She flew off, didn't really get hurt. She got pretty hurt. She had some gravel on her knees, but she was a nurse, and she kind of started using with me, dude. And it was just two people. And I didn't know how to stop, bro. I didn't know how to stop.
And being in a program, like when you got a girl, that's like the perfect like sidekick crime partner.
Yeah.
To go do it with you. So it's probably
she's the type of girl that was like, you want to jump off this bridge? You want to jump off this bridge? Sure, let's do it. So there was no.
Who's going first?
Yeah, there was no arguments there. So, some time went by, and I have 2 daughters, and they came and they said, Dad, we're worried about you. They were crying and shit. And one day, man, I don't know if they call it the spiritual awakening. I just said, I'm done, man. I'm done with these pills. I'm done with the struggle, and here I am going on 4.5 years sober. So,
man,
I would tell people that for people that are watching this and are struggling, I'm happier today sober with 1 leg than loaded with 2 legs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Man,
That's
touching,
that
man.
kind of makes something,
Yeah.
And that's what I try to tell people in the program, and I haven't been more happier in my life, dude.
And also, people should be taking their health for granted. They shouldn't take their health for granted. Like people that do, like I know every one of us have like taken ourselves for granted, bro. And like now, do you see things? You see things differently? Do you like? You got him sick. You could have killed you.
Yeah, dude. I almost died in the hospital, dude. I almost coded in the hospital. It was a long trip, dude.
Yeah,
but, I wouldn't want it any other way. I don't regret anything.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at the lady that hit me. I'm just.
It's all God's will.
It's all God's will.
Part of the purpose.
100%.
Well, in your accident, did your tattooing? Did your accident affect anything like tattooing wise?
You know what?
The business?
I was home for about 6 months, and the dudes at my studio, they held it down and paid the bills and stuff like that. And I just didn't want to do shit. I didn't want to get out of the house. I didn't want to change until that day came to where I wanted to change. And the funny thing about it was, I was on my way to the opening when they had the tattoo exhibit at the Natural History Museum. I was on my way to the opening party. So long story short, the Sullen dudes invited me.
Yeah.
And people were waiting for me. They're like, where the fuck are you at? And people didn't know. Long story short, after my recovery, Sullen dudes at that exhibit, there was a tattoo shop in there, and they would have tattooers come in. It was a makeshift tattoo shop in the museum, and they would have tattooers come in there and tattoo.
Damn.
So after 6 months of not tattooing, I did my first tattoo in the Natural History Museum, dude. And that was something that brought my spirits up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it was just like riding a bike, dude.
Right.
Right. And I could say over the years, my accident has brought me in and out of the program, and it has affected me. But for the first time, I've never had more than 6 months, dude.
Yeah.
For the first time in my life, coming up on 4.5 years, I'm set in my ways, and I'm appreciative, and I have gratitude. But yeah, it affected just the way I ran my business, and I could have done this, should have done that. But here we are, man. It's a new day, and I'm here, and I'm blessed. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a blessing, man,
Yeah.
all the way around.
Most definitely.
Yeah. What about what's one of your favorite stories you got? One of the craziest, wildest stories you have right here that ever,
Man,
you know, something that
I hope this is PG-13 here.
Try to catch me howling at the moon.